All right, welcome back, everybody. We're going to go to part two on the crisis of infinite Earths. I think that's, I mean, if you're a comic book fan, you'll get it. But it's part two of the crisis. To say the earthquake, the tsunami, not working, no job, no contract. I'm screwed. I mean, that's at that point in my life. It was a lot. So everything has already happened. Baseball season has been postponed. The players are freaking out, but they're still calmed down. The nuclear radiation is still, out there. There's still an issue with it, but it's not. The government is trying to keep it on as much as a low down as possible. Like they're putting sticks in the ground around schools, around different areas, saying, look, the ground is clean. The radiation hasn't reached here. But then another news crew will go out there and say, look at this new fresh dirt that they're sticking it in, and then they stick it in the old dirt, and you see the Geiger counter go. So, you can see that media and everything was trying to cover things up, and it was an issue. So it's like the beginning of April, maybe a little bit mid-April. I have no jobs. I have no contracts. All the plans from that whole year had been canceled because of the situation, which, some people had it worse off than me. And so I really didn't know what to do. I was really, sitting in my house. I don't have much more money to spend. Rent. My rent wasn't cheap. I'm not making anything, and for the last 3 or 4 months, I've been surviving off of just this and that, and side jobs. But that's not enough. So my money's almost depleted. I've still got my daughter's stuff to worry about. She's in the States, and I don't know. It's literally, it's the times you sit in the house with your head down, just you don't want to cry for just to cry. You're just like, what can I do? And I'm not gonna lie, I was literally, going back to the States was like the only option I could think of at the time. It's like, throw in the towel, pick up the towel, throw it in, go back to the States and see if I can start over with something, anything. I'm in Japan. I don't have a job. I'm a foreigner. Right now, things are crazy. Nuclear radiation, big earthquakes, and we're having aftershocks, like 15, 20 aftershocks a day minimum. You just be sitting there and then just. I remember I did, my sister had asked me to do an interview for like one of the local TV stations. So I did a live YouTube, Skype interview, and while I was doing the interview, and I wanted my family to relax and not be so worried about what was going on here. And so I'm trying my hardest to downplay as much as possible, being like, yeah, it's fine, don't worry about it. And I'm doing the interview, I was like, yeah, it's totally fine, some here and there. And while I'm doing the interview, it's like, and they were like, are we experiencing an earthquake right now? I'm like, maybe, I don't know. But, it's just an aftershock. We had so many. If you look at like the little aftershock checker thing, it was just red dots, like 5,000 red dots in a month. It was crazy. So I'm thinking maybe just go back to the States, call it a day. I did everything I could do here. I don't have a job. I don't have anything on the line. The players are so freaking out about this. They want to leave. Why are they going to even consider hire someone? The season hasn't even started. They don't even know if the season's going to start yet because of the nuclear power plant. Because of that being shut down, the powers have been limited, and running a stadium or dome, the lights alone will take so much, like 500 houses worth of electricity, and they want them to cut back. It's just a weird situation. So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking and I'm trying to, and I can't even play video games. And if you're a video gamer like me, if you're a gamer, video games is how you get out of your stress. That's what you do to relax. But I couldn't even play games because I couldn't focus. My brain was just everywhere. I'm dying. I can't even kill somebody, and then you just get more frustrated and shut the game off. So, and I'm thinking, well, I guess I could start selling stuff. If I, things I have in the house, collectible items. I don't know, just to get by for the next couple months until I figure out what's going to happen, and buy a plane ticket to the States. And so after thinking about it, going back to the States seemed to be the best and probably only option. Go back to the States, live with one of my family members for a month or two, find a job. I didn't care, any job. Working construction, McDonald's, I didn't care. But there wasn't an earthquake there and there wasn't nuclear fallout, so at least there's jobs available. So I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, you know what? Time to throw in the towel. And I literally raise my hand to go throw the towel in, and my phone rings. Beep, 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 beep. beep, 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 beep. Literally, it made that sound because my phone was broken, so I made a sound for it. So it was like beep, 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 and I answered the phone. I'm like, hello, and it was the Giants. They were like, hey, Bachi, I know you said you didn't want the job. I know you said you weren't interested, but because of new circumstances and these guys are really stressing out, and we know that you've been helping them a lot, and they, they always, when we tell them something, they always like, well, I'm gonna ask Bachi, I'm gonna ask Bachi. Are you sure you don't want to come work for us? Isn't it, even if it's temporary, just for a few months, just come work for us, and and you're the only American they've ever offered this to. You're the only American in Giants history to be given this kind of are you sure? And of course I was like, well, yeah, I guess I can take the job, and we'll see how it works. But in my mind, I'm like, thank you, God, thank you so much, because I was getting online to buy plane tickets to go home. There's just, what can I do? I'm done. And so Giants hired me as an interpreter and player assistant manager, like to help out the players, the foreign players, and that's where that started. So I'm part of the team now. I've got my Giants uniform on, and I'm actually part of the team. And everybody's happy because they've known me for the last 3 years, and I have a good relationship with the GM and the manager and everybody. And they're like, "Oh my God, congratulations!" They're giving me hugs and stuff. And the players are happy because now I'm there for them 24/7. So I had to cut out any other player that was on another team because the Giants didn't want me dealing with anybody other, because they have their own rules and regulations, and I was totally fine with that. And the pay wasn't amazing, but it was enough that I wouldn't have to sell my hot toys to make rent or anything. So I was happy, and it was a huge company. I mean, I'm with a big company now, and my whole goal from the very first probably 3 months I came to Japan to be an interpreter or work for a translator in a team. It's not just so much to be with the team. Like I said, baseball wasn't my favorite sport, but to be that level of Japanese, that level of, to earn that spot, that place, that was like my goal. And I made it. I did it. I'm here. So I was walking on clouds. And I didn't care. And they were like, we need you to go here. We need you to go on the road. We need you to, I am there. You just point me in the direction. They were, you sure it's okay? I will sleep on a tatami mat. I don't care. I'm good. So that's how that started. And for the next season, I was with the team, and it was I mean, everybody was stressed, and there was a lot of issues because the players were stressing out. But for the most part, it was great for me. I had a great time, and I was up in I was down in the minors a little bit, and then I'd go up to the majors with different players because I had like 2 or 3 guys that I was to look over. So if one of them went up, I went up with them. One of them went down, I go down until the next one comes up. And I was told I did a really good job because there was a couple players that were difficult because of stressful situation, and before I got there, the attitude and the anger was an issue with some of these guys. And then after about a month or two with me, and now I'm friends with the guys. I've been helping them. I've been bringing them water. I've been helping them out. So they knew me, and I tell them, hey, so, you can't talk to them like that, or you can't say that. That's disrespectful. And he's like, well, I'm like, no. I said, look, I'm here under a trial and error type thing. If this doesn't work out for me, I'm done. They can fire me anytime. I don't have a year contract. I do a monthly by monthly type thing, just, because it's the first time they've ever hired an American. There's just a lot of, and it was short term, and it wasn't a season that already started. There's a lot of I guess, I's to dot and T's to cross of me becoming part of the team. So it takes time. So I was like, you doing this makes me look bad. So, out of respect for me, because we were friends, he straightened up, or they straightened up, and they went to the next meeting. They were very polite, and, they kept their, and after that, they were like, totally different person. Bachi, you're doing amazing. Keep it up. And I'm like, thank you. So, and I did everything I could, and these guys, they changed, and it was easier to work with them, and the team was even happy, and so it was. And I'd always make them like, they break a bat, or they got batting gloves they throw away. I'd like, don't throw that away. There's kids, there's fans out there. Just give it to them. So we take the bat, and they're like, yeah, but the bat's broke. So I would go there and I'd tape it up, and I'd get it all so the splinters don't come out. So when we're leaving the stadium or the practice or the minor leagues, I'd go up and give it to a kid, and like, here's a bat and stuff. And these kids loved it, and this was a dream come true to them. And to me, I mean, to these guys, they're going to throw it in the trash anyway. But that's You never know. This kid, that might make him become a baseball player someday and be the best player because somebody gave him a batting glove or a bat or something. So everything was going great. We had a lot of fun. We went on the road a lot with these guys, and it was a learning experience. And I got to see the real inside of, and the fans knew who I was because of the years with crewing and stuff, and they were excited to see me in a uniform. But because I'm in a uniform now, things were much different. I mean, I was under magnifying glass. I always had to be very proper, very polite, and I mean, I had to be careful. And of course, I don't drink. I'm not going. I'm too tired because I'm in the mornings going to practice. So I'm not even going out at nights, like meeting up with friends. I'm just going back to my house and just chilling. And plus, with all the stuff that was going on, it was just better that And I remember one time there was an issue. One of the players had got mad, and some stuff had happened, and the manager called me into the office, and everybody's like, "Oh boy, you're in trouble." So I went in the office, and he was like, "So, what do you got to say?" Now, there's several options. One, I could tell him the truth of what exactly happened, what was said, how it was done, this is this, what pushed him to this point, what got him mad, what created the outcome. Two, I could lie and say, well, he didn't really know that he wasn't supposed to eat that apple, or he wasn't sure that, that he couldn't step on those steps at the time because, he had never been told different. Three, take full responsibility, take the hit. So, I mean, and there's several other options, I'm sure. And I'm sure I don't know which one you guys would pick. The truth is always good. But Japanese culture, Japanese way of thinking is you take the hit. You take full responsibility for everything that happened, and you just tell them it's never going to happen again, and you make sure it doesn't. So that's what I did. I mean, I could have told him the truth, told him exactly what happened, what was said, why things got out of hand, why he got mad, why the apple was eaten. But I was just like, look, I'm not going to make excuses. I should have handled the situation better. I should have controlled the situation. I should control the outcome. I let it go, and that's totally my fault because I wasn't sure how much involved I can get, and I messed up. I take full responsibility. It was nobody's fault other than mine. I take any punishment you want to give me. All I can do is promise you that it will never happen again. I will never personally let something like that happen again. That apple will never be eaten unless it's able to be eaten. And he looked at me, and the manager looked at me, and he looked at the other coaches, and he was like, good answer. Don't worry about it. I know it wasn't your fault. I know exactly what happened. I just wanted to see how what your response would be, and would you hand it off to somebody else, or would you just? He said, that was a perfect answer. He's like, I'm very impressed, and all the other coaches and managers were just like, because I am a foreigner, I am American, so we have our ways of doing things, and it doesn't always match up to the way Japanese do things. So they wanted to see how much of the Japanese side I would go, or if I would stick to my guns. Because if you remember, stories ago, it's about years ago for some of you, I told you a story about the guy who worked for the Hiroshima team, the translator, who was American, or maybe American, something. And the manager and the player were arguing, and he translated exactly what the player told the manager, like, I hate you, or you're a dumbass, or whatever. And of course, the manager got mad at the player and the translator, the coach or whoever. And afterwards, they called him in the office. He's like, I didn't call you a dumbass. He called you a dumbass. I just translated. But they said, it's your job to take responsibility. It's your job to filter. It's your job to clean and control the player. And there's that sense. It's your job to make sure it doesn't get that far because you're the cushion. And because he was like, it's not my job is to translate. And that's exactly what I did. So don't get mad at me. They let him go. And since that day, 20 years ago, no American translators have been on any teams because the way they thought and the way the Japanese thing was always different. And so I guess that was my test, and I passed, thank God. So I come out, I sit down at the table, and after that meeting, and everybody's like, "Is everything okay?" And the Japanese guys and players have been here for a while. Like, are you? I was like, "Yeah, I just took full responsibility. I took the hit." And he said, "Just be careful not to let it happen again." And they were like, "Oh wow, cool." So that was that. And see, we're at 15 minutes. I really don't have much to say on the whole working for the Giants. It was a great experience. I had a great time. I'll post some pictures. I mean, I was too busy with the team. And this is when I got out of doing any kind of TV work and AD work. Hold on, truck. Like helping out with commercials and stuff, because the Giants schedule 6 days a week, traveling on one day. I was just too busy. I couldn't do anything. So I kind of pushed out all the other side jobs that I had anything involved with. People would call me. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm with the Giants now. I can't. And I just cut everything out. So I literally reset everything in my position. But the companies and the people that I'd met over the years, the heads and the labels and the studios, now I'm actually on the inside. So it was easier. They were even more friendly to me, and I would try to give them tickets. Like, hey, we got a game here, and I have a couple of guest tickets because the players I'm with, they don't have their families back in the States, or and they're like, hey, I got some tickets if you want to come. So I'm inviting these these CEOs and these big names to come watch games, and they love me. I'm keeping those important connections alive. And I do remember one time I just got off the road. And I had my Giants bag, and I'm in a suit because team policy, you have to travel in a suit. And this friend of mine, who was a Brazilian Japanese, kind of like a model, wanting to be a talent type person, really nice girl. She was like, Bachi, I want to go into an agency. I have these 3 agencies who are interested in me, but I don't know which one is best for me, because, she's Brazilian Japanese. She speaks Portuguese and English, and no English, Portuguese and Japanese. And, I would like to get your advice. So I was like, okay, well, I'm coming back from Osaka today. When are you free? And she's like, well, today is the only time I really have time. Tomorrow I'm going for some photo shoot somewhere. So I was like, all right, we can meet at TGI Fridays in Yokohama. And we'll talk about it. I have to eat anyway when I get back. So I meet her at TGI Fridays in Yokohama. And we're sitting there, and she's telling me, the agencies that are interested in her, and which ones, and, who introduced her, and what she wants to do with her career to find out which agency fits her best, And we're talking, we're at the counter behind the bar, and the bar's here, and we're sitting at this table, and there's these 2 American guys, and they're probably in their 50s, and they can't take their eyes off of her. And that's fine. I mean, she is beautiful. And they're just staring and talking, and they're talking loud so she can hear it. He's like, yeah, I just bought my girlfriend in Paris a new Rolex worth $25,000, and they're just loud. And even she said, why are those guys why are they talking so loud? And I was like, they're trying to get your attention. She goes, really? Why? I was like, well, can't you see they're just staring at you? And she was like, oh, and I was, like, what? She's like, what are they saying? I was like, talking about buying somebody a Rolex or something like that. And her family actually had a lot of money, so she wasn't too impressed about the money thing. So they keep doing this, and then I hear the one guy was like, I don't even think they're speaking in English. Listen. And we're talking, and he's like, yeah, I think they're speaking in Japanese or something. I don't know if she even speaks English. So then they realized their whole yelling, about showing off wasn't working out for him. So, and he's pulling up, trying to show his nice watch off, and and they're doing everything they can to get her attention. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is just enough. So I'm tired. I just got back off a road trip. We had our dinner. We talked. I heard what she said. I gave her my opinion. I gave her my advice. I told her the people I can introduce her to. Maybe they might be better fit for what she's trying to do. So I'm like, I'm gonna run to the bathroom, and I'll be right back. And so I was like, these guys are probably gonna come over to talk to you. So be ready. She's like, I don't know, what do I say? And I was like, just tell them to go away, or just don't speak English. You don't speak English anyway. I mean, she was like, oh. So I go to the bathroom. When I come out, I expect to see these guys trying to talk to her. I come back and they're not there, and I was like, oh, that's impressive. And I was like, they didn't come over. She goes, oh, they tried to, but I did the whole no. And in Japanese, this means stop, don't, not happening, no way, no thank you, check. I want the food check. It means everything is in enough. We're finished. So I was like, oh, and I just laughed. So we get up to leave, and they went to get my suitcase, my Giants bag, And the guy's like, excuse me, sir, excuse me, can I talk to you for a second? I'm like, okay. And he's like, could you do me a favor and tell her that I've traveled the world and she's the most beautiful girl I've ever seen in my life? And I'm like, are you serious? I'm like, really? And in the back of my head, I'm like, what? Now, you don't know if this is my wife, this is my girlfriend, this is my fiance, my sister. You don't know anything about this girl, but yet you're going to ask me to translate. But I was like, he thinks you're cute. And she was like, what do you want me to say back? And I just say thank you. So she's like, thank you. And so we start to walk out, and he's like, hey, wait. Could you tell her that because I'm the head of my company, and I've traveled on first class and private, and I've seen models, I've been to, the Playboy Mansion, and he's just going off. And he's literally using me to translate to this girl to hit on her. And yet again, he doesn't know what this girl is to me. And this kind of upset me. And I was like, if this was the States, this would have been a fight. I mean, there would have been a bottle broken over his head. And if it would have been me 10 years ago, I'd have probably broken a bottle over his head myself. And I'm just looking at him. I was like, look, stop right there. Bro, you don't, this is only my Tuesday girl. And they bring me the bag right there. And I said, this is my Tuesday girl. You should see my Wednesday girl. I said, you might have your private jets and you're traveling all over the worlds and your $1,500 Rolex and stuff like that. I said, but you've never really made it until you're with a professional baseball team. And I pointed down at the bag and I said, let's go. And we walked out and his friend just started laughing. And he's like, what the, man, oh, what the, and he just starts cussing and freaking out. And we just walked out and she was like, what happened? I was like, nothing. It just had to prove a point. And it was just funny. It was just stupid. I mean, seriously, how can you, I just didn't get it. I mean, I've been out of the States for a while, but would that fly in anywhere? I mean, you ask me to translate to possibly my wife or my girlfriend or my friend or my sister or my cousin or whatever. It just didn't make sense to me. So that was one incident that was pretty funny. And let's see, what else? Any other incidences that were amusing at the time? I mean, it was just simple. It was just every day was work with the team and traveling and stuff like that. So now we're getting to the end of the year, and it's time to recontract up for another season, or if they even offer it to me. I don't know. Stay tuned. All right, thanks for watching.